Welcome to Papa's Workshop. In this video, I'm going to be introducing to you the xTool 10-watt laser. This is a fantastic laser that I want to be able to show you today in detail. Yes, I'm going to be doing the unboxing, but more importantly, I'm going to be showing you a detailed build on how to put this together and get it to run. Now, many of you know that I use the Lightburn software to be able to run my lasers, and this is no different. Recently, they've been able to upgrade their firmware so that you can use the Lightburn software. Now, it does come with the LaserBox Basic software to be able to use, and that's fine, but my preference is to be able to use the Lightburn. So I'm going to show you the step-by-step today on how to update the firmware and to be able to set it up to use Lightburn software. Let's get started. Let's get started unboxing this. Now, one of the most important things is don't just go and throw away all these papers. This one card right here is very important. This is getting started in 3 steps. Step number 2 is very important. It gives you the website on where you get the instructions. You also get this neat little card with all the decals on it. And I'm not going to sit here and go through and show you every little thing that comes out. It just is a waste of time. So I'm going to skip over and show you everything laid out on the workbench on what you get in this box. Okay, here you go. Really, this is very, very simple. You have your 4 basic components. And the good thing is the majority of everything is already put together. The stepper motors are installed, the belts are installed, and on one side you have one belt that's loose and you have this put in the control rod, but that's not a big deal. You also have the cord and the adapter. Of course, that little package has all of the screws, which is not many. And you have the different samples. In addition, let's throw in the USB cable, of course the laser itself, and can't forget the glasses. Now, this 3-step card actually can really be broken down into just one step. Step number 2, you need to go to this site, and that has all the instructions right there. Okay, when I go to the support.xtool.com, this is the page that comes up. Now, I need to select the product, and then here is all of the different things that you can choose from. This is the user manual for the xTool D1. You also have the rotary attachment and all the various instructions to use the Lightburn software, LaserBox app, and so on. So I'm just going to go ahead and select the first one for the user manual. And this has all the information here. And then this gives you the step-by-step guide on how to assemble it. The very first thing we need to do is cut this tie right here. And we'll get that out of the way. And the next thing I want to go ahead and lay out how this will go together. Now, this is going to be the front of the machine with the xTool, and you have the button right here, so that is going to be the front. The left side with the stepper motor, the step is going to be on the front left. This is going to be the gantry, and you can see the rod right here where these will wheels will roll on. The right side is where we had just cut that tie. And then you have the back piece that really has nothing on it at all other than the feet, and that will go right there. Now that we have everything laid out, we're going to go ahead and start to assemble this frame. Now, this is very precision engineered, and this little notch right here will go underneath this. And if you put that in there, it's a tight fit. But that will slip right into its position, and it has a good fit all the way around. And I slip this side in first, just to get it in, and that's where it has the off and on switch and the USB cable, power cable, all of that's right here. And you can see that's a very precision made. And on the rear of the machine, the same thing. You have this little notch, and that's going to fit right in to that location. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now we have the screw holes here and of course on the back, and we'll go ahead and put the screws in now on this entire frame. Now it has the package of the screws already set up, and you also have the packet with the various Allen wrenches in it also. So I'm going to go ahead and dump these out, and we'll get the Allen wrenches out also. And that will be that one. Now in the package, you have 16 screws. They actually organize it so that each package has exactly what you need in it. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these screws in and just loosely put them in right now. I'm not tightening these screws yet. I want to be able to keep it loose. Now I have the top one in. Now I'm moving around and putting in the 3 screws here on the front. And again, these are all just loose fit. I do not want to tighten them at all. I want to get all 16 screws in on all 4 corners, and then I'll tighten them all at one time. That'll help to make sure that the alignment is perfect and that the machine will stay square. Now I have all these in on the right side. I'm just going to go ahead and tighten them up. Now I'll go ahead and move to the back. On the back side, on this corner, is a little bit different. You see the screw on the top that I've already put in, but on this side you see 4 holes. Well, 3 of those holes are for these small screws that actually hold the frame together. That one hole in the middle, we'll get to that in just a moment. I now have all the screws in and all 16 are tight. On the inside, you have this bracket right here that holds this pulley. Now this side is already tensioned and it's set for you. But you do have a screw like this that you need to be able to put into the back side. And that way, if you need to adjust it, you will use this screw to be able to adjust it. Should you need to adjust this, you have this screw right here that you would need to loosen, because this is the one that actually locks it in place. And then you can adjust this screw to be able to tighten the belt. Now I'm just going to go ahead and tighten this up at this point. Now this is tight and this is tight, so that's good. Now on the other side, we'll tighten that one in a moment because I still have to put in the rod that goes across the front that connects the stepper motor. Now you notice that this little block right here with the wheel on it is loose. That way I can go ahead and screw in this screw on the back side, but I'm going to keep it loose. Now at least it's in. I don't have to worry about losing the screw. Once I'm ready to tension the belts, then that's the screw that I'll use to do that with. Now this is the screw that I'll use to tighten it with, and then this is the screw that I'll use to lock it in place. It's time to be able to attach the gantry, and it has 2 screws on each side that will be fitted in. Now everything on this machine has been very, very precisely engineered. And when I put the base together and put in all of the screws, it was 100% square. I did not have to make any adjustments. When I installed this gantry, same thing. You do have the 2 screws on each side, and you do need to check to make sure that it is square. And I just set my square up against the mount for the laser, and sure enough, it was 100% square. And that just gives you a more accurate, true machine when you're doing the engraving. Nothing's going to be out of alignment. Now that I have both of them loosely tightened, I can go ahead and tighten this up. You have a 3rd hole here, and that is for the same thing, to be able to adjust the tension on the belt. Now this one's already tight, that's in place, but I'm going to go ahead and put this screw in place so that I should need to tighten the belts. I have the adjustment screw right here in place. This part is all done now. Next, we're going to go ahead and install the rod and attach this belt over here and get it tensioned. Now the easiest way to be able to put this shaft into position is by flipping the machine over. So I'm just going to turn it over. Now I'm going to turn it around this way so I have better lighting. And this is where it's going to go, right into this spot. Right here is a bearing that's pre-installed, and that one end of the shaft will be able to go into. On the other end, you have this pre-installed stepper motor that is going to attach right there. Now this sprocket is already pre-attached. The only thing we need to do is make sure that we put the belt on, and we need to make sure that the belt's not twisted, because it is attached on the other end. But it's easy to be able to have this twisted. We need to make sure that this belt is not twisted anywhere along in here. And we'll put that on there. And then slip this in to the bearing. And then on this side, we'll just take this and slide it down. And then we'll be able to tighten this. Once this is tightened, this portion of the installation is completed. It's just that easy. All the mechanicals are done now, and it's time to be able to hook up the wiring. The wiring connectors are actually color-coded, so it makes it very easy to be able to attach everything. This, quite frankly, was the hardest part of the whole installation because my big fat fingers just could not hardly get in there. But if you have some skinny fingers that can get into this tight spot, this actually is very straightforward, and all you need to be able to do is just snap these connectors right into place, and that's it. Now connecting the other end to the stepper motor, that was easy. I could reach that one. It was where I could get to it quite easily. And it just plugs in. And then we're going to go ahead and move over to the main wiring harness, and everything is all preset for you. Now while we're here, let's go ahead and get some of the zip ties and go ahead and secure the wiring. Now you have holes in the frame already designed for that, so it's not a matter of doing anything other than slipping the tie into the hole and attaching it. And you can see the two holes in the frame, and that's very easy to be able to get to. They just slip in, you capture the wire, and you just tie it off. And then just cut off the extra ends and you're done. Moving on to the main wiring harness, it's the same exact steps. These are color-coded, and all you need to do is just plug them into the main board and then into the stepper motors. And then repeat the same process with being able to secure the wiring harness to the frame with the holes that are already pre-drilled. You're just going to put in the zip tie and connect it. Moving on to the laser, I want to take the wire for the laser and go ahead and connect that now. It's a lot easier to do it now where I can hold on to it rather than have it on the laser mount itself. So after I get it plugged in, then I'm just going to go ahead and slide it onto the dovetail slot. And then on the left hand side there's a set screw, and that allows you to be able to tighten it. This is a very easy mechanism to be able to adjust the height of your projects just by being able to slide it up and down with the dovetail slot and tighten it with that set screw. The last step is to zip tie the wiring harness. The time has come now to plug in the power cable. Also, we're going to go ahead and plug in the USB cable, and we're going to do our first test engrave. Now you do have this mini SD card that you need to be able to plug in, and that's real easy to be able to do with how this is set up. It just literally slides right into this slot. I need to update the firmware on the xTool to be able to be compatible with the Lightburn software. So I'm going to the support.xtools.com to their website, and at this point I need to select the xTool D1. So I'm going to come down here and I want to be able to go to the LaserBox software. We're going to highlight this first and then obtain and install the LaserBox Basic. Now that I've gone through all the steps and installed the LaserBox Basic, I'm going to go ahead and open up this application, because this is where the firmware updates will be, and I can do all of that right here into this application before moving to Lightburn. So click on the blue plus sign and then click on the LaserBox COM5. From there, you're going to move over to the left hand side under the menu. Click on the menu. You have a drop down, check for the firmware. When you click that box, that's going to open up a brand new window. And at this point, you can see where it's time to update. So all you need to do is go down to the bottom right hand corner and click on update now. And then of course the screen's going to change and it'll show you that it is updating the firmware. When it's all done, you're going to get this screen. Just click OK and it'll take you out of this. At this point, I don't need Lightbox Basic anymore. I went back to the main menu on the xTool, and I need to click right here, xTool D1, Lightburn for experienced users. At this point, scroll down, and you want to click on Lightburn for the xTool D1, the user manual. Scroll down one more time. This time, you're looking for the configuration file for the xTool D1. And right there, this is it. Go ahead and click on that. That downloads the configuration for the machine and it sets up all of the parameters that you need. Close out of this and you're ready to go into Lightburn. Under the Laser tab, click on Devices and click on Import with the drop-down menu. This will bring you up to the file that you just downloaded for the configuration, and click Open, and that brings this right into your device settings. And now you can go ahead and click on that and hit OK. And what that does, it brings in all your settings and everything is now set for the Lightburn to be able to use the machine. Now the last step, under the laser window, go down to the bottom right hand corner, click on that, open it up, and you'll see the xTool D1. When you click that, that brings in all the different settings. So now you're ready to go. You'll see exactly where the laser is positioned, and now you'll be able to move it. So I click on the move, and I can go to the right, left, any direction that I want to, and you can see the machine moving. The next thing that I want to do is actually home the machine. Now this is something I typically do not do with the lasers, but I went ahead and hit the home button, and you can see the machine moving, and it's going right to the home position. In this case, it's the top left position. Now you can come over to this icon, and this is the little pointer icon, and I can click on the board, and that tells the machine exactly where to go, and you can see the machine will move to that exact point. This actually is a nice feature, and it's going to be something that I'm going to be playing with now for a while. I went ahead and took a sample piece of the wood that I have, and I drew a rectangle. And then I brought in this logo, and I'm going to position it right into that space. And that way this black rectangle is going to be the size of my workpiece, and I know I can frame it within that space. Now this is going to be set up as a fill, and that's the part that I'm going to engrave. And my little rectangle, I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. I'm also going to change the power settings, and I really don't know what power setting is going to be required for this. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a guess. I'm going to set this up for 60 inches per minute, and I'm going to use the power at 50%, and we'll see what happens. I don't know if it's going to engrave it all the way through or if it's going to be a nice beautiful engrave. Let's see and try it out. I want to go back to the laser menu, and I want to select frame, and we're going to frame this and make sure that this is lined up exactly with my little small rectangular piece of plywood. And it was set perfect, so I just went ahead and grabbed the glasses and hit start. Couldn't wait to just see how this is going to engrave. The one thing I forgot to show you is this little arm. This is how you adjust the Z height. You put this down right to your material, adjust the Z height, and then you can just slip it right back into position. It has a little magnet in there that holds it in place, and this is fantastic. I wish I'd have thought of this idea, because that is just good. You'd never have to worry about losing the tool to measure the Z height. Now let's get back to the engraving. As I look at this, it is actually engraving very, very deep. In fact, if you look close, it's almost cutting all the way through this plywood. Now this machine is extremely quiet. I have the camera as close as I can get to it, and this is the actual full sound. I'm not reducing the sound or the volume on this at all. So this is a very quiet machine. The other thing that I really like are these metal wheels. You're not going to have a wear problem with these. The track is also metal that this is rolling on. Back to this, the detail and the sharpness is fantastic. The letters look great, I'm very impressed with this laser so far. And this is only the first of many different tests that I'm going to be doing with this laser. Okay, it's all finished now. Let's get it off and let's take a look at it. And if you look up close, the detail is extraordinary. Now you can see around the circle itself the little bitty tiny lines, and those could actually be eliminated by doing a fill and line process. Well, under the initial impression, this is fantastic. I think this is a real game changer, and it's a really different design laser than virtually anything that's on the market, and I think that's a good thing. The engineers that put this together really put a lot of thought into it and made being able to adjust the belts super easy, being able to have the controls right up here on the front and tuck away the control board is also nice. It's going to prevent it from being damaged from moving around the laser. I really like these metal wheels. They're going to last for a long time. The bracket that's used to be able to tension the belt is absolutely fantastic. It's easy and simple yet effective. The control board is tucked out of the way so it's not going to have a problem with being damaged from being able to move the laser around. Now this laser with this little arm that drops down to adjust the Z height, I think is a fantastic idea. I have a feeling that it is a result of folks who have lost that little gauge to be able to set the Z height. Well, this solves the problem. And it has a little magnetic catch in it so that it stays tucked away when it's not needed. And of course you have the shield that helps protect your eyes. There are many things that I really like about this new laser. There is one thing that I do not like. I do not like how these cables are structured. This cable constantly works its way right back into the project area, which potentially could cause severe damage. If you're doing a project and for unknown reasons you leave this laser unattended, you potentially could have that project ruined by having that laser cut through this cord. That is not good. So one, do not ever leave your laser unattended, but two, we've got to be able to do something to be able to manage this cable better and keep it out of the area. I want to thank everyone for watching the video today, and I hope you're able to pick up a few tips along the way. To be able to build this laser is actually quite easy, but because it's a totally new design that's unfamiliar to a lot of people, I wanted to show you in detail exactly how to assemble it. Also, using the laser with the Lightburn software is also fairly new, and I wanted to take the opportunity to be able to go into detail on exactly how to set it up and how to get Lightburn to work with this laser. If you liked the video today, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up, and don't forget, go ahead and subscribe to the channel while you're there, because we're going to be putting this laser to use for a lot in the shop, and I can't wait. So until next time, I look forward to seeing each and every one of you guys in the shop on no matter what project that I'm working on.